While modern horse trainers shout commands and rely on constant verbal direction, Amish handlers work in complete silence, controlling horses through subtle signals invisible to untrained eyes. Their horses respond to pressure, position, and patience. Communication happening entirely without words, pressure, and release. The fundamental principle underlying all Amish horse training involves applying gentle pressure to encourage movement, then releasing immediately when the horse responds correctly. Through this simple feedback system, horses learn cause and effect. Compliance brings relief. Pressure comes through multiple channels: halter tension, rein contact, body position, proximity, or direct touch. The timing proves absolutely crucial. Handlers must release within split seconds of correct response, or the horse never connects behavior with reward. Children learn this technique from age 5 or 6, developing the muscle memory that makes proper timing automatic by adulthood. Silence makes horses more attentive to the physical cues that matter. Positioning and pressure. Horses are herd animals constantly reading body language of those around them, making positional training incredibly effective. Amish handlers use their position relative to the horse to guide movement without touching or speaking. Standing at the horse's shoulder creates forward motion, while positioning behind the shoulder encourages stopping. Distance from the horse creates different responses. Close proximity demands attention, while backing away releases pressure. Amish children learn to read horses' responses through years of observation, understanding how each positional shift affects behavior. Moving horses without touching them looks like magic to outsiders unfamiliar with these dynamics. The energy and intention handlers project gets sensed by horses even at distance. Modern natural horsemanship movements are rediscovering these ancient methods, but watching experienced Amish handlers reveals effortlessness that comes only through decades of practice. Consistent hand signals. Specific hand gestures communicate specific commands across Amish communities with remarkable standardization. Raised hand means stop, palm facing horse, arm extended. Lowered hand signals forward movement, palm down, sweeping motion. Lateral hand movements indicate turning direction, pointing where horse should go. The standardization across communities means any family member can control any horse using identical signals. Horses sold to other Amish families arrive already trained in universal language. Teaching hand signals begins during earliest ground training, with handlers leading horses while using exaggerated gestures. These same signals graduate to riding, maintaining consistency between groundwork and mounted work. The subtlety outsiders completely miss involves tiny finger movements horses recognize after years of training. The advantage becomes clear in practical application. Signals work at distance, where shouting would be necessary with verbal commands. Multiple horses get controlled simultaneously through different signals to different animals. Managing teams of 4 to 6 horses pulling wagons or plows requires this precision. Rein pressure communication. Reins function as communication tools, not control mechanisms in Amish training philosophy. Light tension indicates direction changes, with horses trained to respond to ounces of pressure rather than pounds of force. Never pulling hard or jerking, handlers maintain soft hands that ask rather than demand. Teaching horses to respond to minimal pressure creates the sensitive mouths that characterize well-trained Amish horses. Bit selection reflects this philosophy. Simple, mild bits without harsh leverage or sharp elements. Young horses learn rein cues through ground driving before anyone rides them, with long reins teaching response to pressure while handler walks behind. Graduated pressure levels teach precise responses. Slight pickup signals, attention needed. Gentle squeeze means stop. Directional pressure indicates turning, and immediate release rewards correct response. The horses that stop from barely perceptible rein lift amaze outsiders watching Amish handlers who seem to stop horses through thought alone. Years of consistent training create this sensitivity, starting when horses reach age 2 or 3. By age 5, horses are fully trained for their working roles, beginning lifetimes of partnership Old horses know their jobs so thoroughly that they perform routes by memory, stopping at familiar locations automatically. Patience and time investment. Training never gets rushed or forced in Amish horse culture, with young horses given years to mature physically and mentally before serious work begins. Starting slowly with simple tasks, handlers build difficulty gradually over time, allowing horses to develop confidence at each level. Why modern quick training fails becomes obvious through the 30-day miracle transformations promised by commercial trainers. Real training requires years, not weeks. Amish families spend 2 to 3 years on full training, building foundations through patience that allows trust to develop slowly through consistency. Forcing creates fear and resistance that undermines long-term reliability, while gentle persistence creates willing partners eager to work. Bad days mean stopping and trying again later rather than pushing through resistance that would damage the relationship. Never punishing horses for confusion, handlers simply repeat lessons until understanding comes naturally. Some horses learn faster than others, requiring accommodation of individual differences rather than forcing everyone through identical timelines. The recognition that horses have distinct personalities leads to matching horses to purposes through careful observation. Spirited horses receive appropriate, challenging work. Calm horses get paired with children and elderly handlers. Years of watching reveal each horse's nature, allowing intelligent assignment that benefits both horse and handler. The investment pays off in longevity, with well-trained horses working 15 to 20 years compared to quick-trained horses breaking down physically and mentally within a few years. The economic wisdom of patience becomes clear through this math. One properly trained horse provides more value than 5 poorly trained animals. Amish families keep horses their entire working lives, deepening relationships over decades of partnership. Retirement happens on the farm rather than at auction, with old horses living out lives in familiar surroundings. This respect for animals serving faithfully creates the best working horses available anywhere. Reading horse body language. Communication flows both directions in Amish horse handling, with handlers becoming expert at reading equine body language through lifelong immersion. Ear position indicates mood and attention level. Forward ears show interest and focus. Pinned ears warn of irritation. Sideways ears reveal uncertainty. Eye expression tells the emotional state clearly to trained observers. Soft eyes indicate relaxation and trust. Hard eyes show tension or fear. Wide eyes reveal panic requiring immediate response. Tail carriage signals comfort level. Relaxed tail shows calmness. Clamped tail indicates fear or pain. Swishing tail reveals irritation that needs addressing. Muscle tension visible to trained eyes provides constant feedback. Tight muscles mean anxiety, requiring handler adjustment. Relaxed posture demonstrates trust in current situation. Weight distribution reveals readiness to move or resistance to commands. The constant monitoring during work allows adjusting demands based on horse's state, pushing when horse shows confidence, backing off when stress indicators appear. Why this prevents accidents and injuries becomes obvious through statistics. Amish experience far fewer serious horse-related accidents than recreational riders, despite vastly more horse contact hours. Recognizing pain or discomfort immediately, handlers address problems before they escalate into dangerous situations. Teaching children to watch and interpret horse communication begins from earliest age, with learning happening through observation over years rather than formal instruction. Developing instinct for horse communication creates the safety awareness keeping families secure around large, powerful animals. Reward through rest and release. Horses are motivated by comfort and relief rather than food or praise, making rest the most powerful reward in training. Work represents pressure, while rest represents reward. Finishing tasks correctly means stopping, providing immediate cessation of demands. Horses learn to seek this relief, performing correctly specifically to end pressure they're experiencing. Why this works better than treat-based training becomes clear through results. Food rewards create food-focused horses, constantly seeking treats, while rest rewards create work-focused horses motivated by completing tasks properly. The timing proves everything, with handlers stopping exactly when horses comply, even momentarily. Even brief pauses reinforce learning by marking correct behavior with immediate relief. Building duration happens through gradual increase, short correct performance followed by rest, then slightly longer next time, eventually progressing to full work sessions while always ending with release. The final rest period after work involves grooming as reward and bonding time, with cool down providing connection between horse and handler. Horses associate humans with relief rather than demands, creating psychological benefit beyond simple training mechanics. Wanting to please because it brings comfort develops willing partnership rather than reluctant compliance. The contrast with force-based training reveals itself in attitude. Forced horses comply grudgingly, while rest-trained horses cooperate eagerly. Amish horses demonstrate wanting to work, showing pride in performance developed over years of positive association between effort and relief. The joy visible in well-trained horses, moving confidently and willingly through their tasks, reveals the success of this approach. Why these horses remain sound longer connects to their willing attitude. Horses working happily experience less stress and physical strain than those working resentfully. Generational knowledge transfer. Training knowledge passes from parent to child through demonstration and practice rather than formal instruction or written materials. Children begin learning by watching and helping from age 3 or 4, grooming horses under supervision and leading gentle animals around barnyards. By age 6 or 7, real training participation begins, helping with ground driving, learning rein handling, and body positioning techniques. Age 10 to 12 brings independent horse training responsibilities, with teenagers becoming fully competent trainers capable of starting young horses completely. The advantage comes through decades of accumulated wisdom preserved across generations. Grandparents' techniques remain in use while each generation adds refinements based on experience. Core principles stay unchanged for centuries because they work consistently. Why this system succeeds reveals itself through testing over time. Methods proving effective get preserved and taught, while failed techniques get abandoned long ago. The written knowledge remains minimal, with most training taught through demonstration rather than explanation. Verbal instruction stays secondary to showing proper technique and allowing practice under supervision. Children learn through imitation, making mistakes and receiving immediate correction that builds skill gradually. By adulthood, training becomes second nature through instinct developed during childhood immersion in horse culture. Modern trainers learning from books and weekend clinics cannot match the depth of understanding Amish handlers possess through living the knowledge daily from earliest memory. Why their horses consistently excel comes through this comprehensive education spanning entire lifetimes rather than brief certification programs. These silent methods seem mysterious but rest on a deeply logical understanding of horse psychology and natural behavior. Patience, consistency, and careful observation replace force and verbal commands, creating results that speak for themselves through calm, willing, long-working horses. Modern horse training increasingly adopts these principles through natural horsemanship movements, learning from traditional cultures, but Amish families have practiced these approaches for generations without interruption. The wisdom lies in working with animal nature rather than against it, respecting horses' natural communication systems and psychological needs. This isn't suggesting everyone should abandon verbal commands and train entirely silently. Modern riders operate in different contexts with different goals. But recognizing the effectiveness of silent communication, understanding why these methods create superior working relationships, and appreciating the depth of knowledge preserved through traditional cultures provides valuable perspective. The Amish approach to horse training offers lessons extending beyond equine handling into broader principles about communication, patience, consistency, and respect for those we work with. What surprised you most about these silent training methods? Share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe for more explorations of traditional wisdom that challenges modern assumptions. Thank you for watching.